What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the Circle the W podcast. My name is Nick Ross, and it is Friday Fire, guys. What that means is we're going to bring the truth, and what we know about the truth is that it burns up everything inside of us that is not worthy of our highest self, who we could become if we were fully who we were designed to be. And that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to let the dead wood burn, as we talked about on episode 1. That internal fire, that internal rage that you feel, the anxiety, the anticipation, the stress that you feel when someone tells you the truth or you're confronted with the truth, no matter the source. There's perspective to it, and there could be potential that you can extract from the truth. So don't be flooded by the emotional reaction to the truth. Seek answers first. One of my mentors, Jason Phillips, gave me one of the greatest lines of my life on a really hard conversation that I've had probably 100 times in my life. And people have told me so many ways to solve this problem. And the way he put it just really resonated with me, and it's stuck with me for about 5-6 months now. And that was, Nick, seek answers, not emotions. And when you're able to seek answers first and not the emotional flood, man, and you're emotionally stable, you can make a lot better decisions, and your decisions drive your actions, and the actions you take helps you get the results that you want in life. So let's jump into it, guys. We do have one do. There's only one do, only one ask, and that is if you find anything on this podcast to be helpful, you implement it into your life, you execute it, and you find that it helps you incrementally move forward, and it changes one aspect, no matter how big or small. Pass it forward to someone in your life that may be going through a difficult time. That's what we're here about. We're here to systematically and incrementally stack wins so we can create massive momentum forward, right? But it starts with a small step. And that's what we're going to do. Next Monday, on Momentum Monday, I'm going to help you break down and actually how to use the Circle the W formula, the strategy, the algorithm for success using the calendar, the steps. We're going to go through the goals. I know you guys had some questions about that, but today we're going to bring the fire. We're going to talk about the truth. We're going to look the person in the eye, in the mirror, and we're going to have a conversation, and we're going to move towards our highest potential. Guys, inside the winner's circle, and that's what we are here, we win at winning. And in order to win at winning, we first need a goal, a plan, a target, and a focus. But we will not accept being average any longer. If you've been taking some losses, if you've been taking some L's, and you've been taking the same L over and over and over again, I'm here to tell you, listen to me, man. That is a problem. If you're waking up day after day after day, Groundhog's Day, and you're experiencing the same results, and you're upset with the results that you're getting in your life, then you have to do something about it. But we're going to start small, and that's what we're going to talk about on Monday. Small, incremental steps deposited into the bank of your highest self. Well, sooner or later, guys, you're going to have a massive withdrawal, and it happens so much quicker than you think. So remember the do's, guys. If this helps you, let's move forward. But lastly, guys, when we go, everything we go over on this podcast, information is very important, right? Information, knowledge. But more important than that is the application of knowledge. Knowledge applied is power. That's really one of the overwhelming themes of this podcast. And we want to be able to give you not just the information and education, but also the application, the tools, the resources needed to create radical change in your life. We're going to stack wins like the Spartan stacked bodies, right? Love that line. So we're going to create the momentum, move towards our highest self, and find the meaning that sustains us. Create that compelling future. Man, I'm like ravaging to wake up and just attack the day. I'm like foaming at the mouth to wake up and attack the day. And you should too, but you need a compelling future in order to do that. And in order to find the meaning that sustains us through life, we have to confront the truth, guys. So, once again, let's quickly go down the requirements for being in the winner's circle if you didn't listen to episode 1. We do have some requirements, guys. We don't just let the velvet red rope open and let anyone into club winner's circle here, all right? There's 5 requirements. I'm going to go over them quickly, but if you have time, go back and listen to episode 1. We talk about them in depth. 1, you must choose to win today and only today. I don't care about what happened in the familiar past or the predictable future. It's only today. Number 2, you must make a promise that's bigger than your own wants, needs, and desires, right? The materialistic, the relationships, things of that nature. You must make a promise that you are unwilling to break, and you make it publicly known. That promise is tied to a goal, right? And moving forward in something that you want in your life. For me, I had a promise, to give you guys an example, because I know you had some questions about this. When I was an 8-year-old boy, I made a promise, because sports was my whole entire life, because I grew up on a farm and I understood that if I got off the farm to go practice or go to games, I didn't have to work and shovel manure or build fences or whatever else I was doing. So I loved sports. I was also really high energy, so it allowed me to get the energy out that I needed. So one of the major issues that I had is that I wanted to go pro, but by the time I turned 16, I had given up on that dream. And so for nearly 30 years, I've been chasing this dream to turn pro as an athlete. And that's why I started bodybuilding. But that's a promise I made to my mom when I was 8. It's taken me 30 years and I'm not even there yet. But I refused to break that promise. I had actually let that promise die until 4 years ago when I thought about it. And I was like, man, I could still do this at 34 years old. I can still chase my dreams. I can still become a professional athlete. And that's the type of promise I'm talking about. I've also made a promise to God when I hit my knees, when, I had to start a GoFundMe to help pay for some of the financial burdens that cancer and chemotherapy caused my family, even with health insurance. And the night that happened, I mean, that GoFundMe raised more money than, I'm comfortable with talking about. It fundamentally changed my heart. And in that moment, I remember literally hitting my knees and surrendering to God in that point, because I was completely overwhelmed by the generosity of others. And I just said, God, if you give me one more chance, one more at bat, I will use my few gifts and my few talents that you've given me to serve other people. And I had no idea at the time how I was going to fulfill that promise. I still had to go through chemotherapy and recovery and everything else that was involved with it, and 5 more years of checkups and CAT scans and all the blood work. And it came to fruition. But at that point, I didn't know how. I just made a promise. And still to this day, I have and will remove anything or anyone that comes in the way of those promises. I will remove them, and I have. And sometimes you have to as well, even if it's family, even if it's siblings, even if it's your parents. If they are not supporting you in your goals and the pursuit of your highest self, then they got to go. Same thing with the friends. So I spent a little bit more time on that than I wanted to. But number 3, you accept the philosophy that your lack of your best hurts everyone that you love. We have to chase excellence daily. That's the whole point of circling the W and being part of a culture of winning. Number 4, you never lie to the person looking back at you in the mirror. And that's what Friday Fire is all about. That's letting the internal dead wood that you've been holding on, that you've been compartmentalizing, that you've refused to face inside of you, that shit needs to burn up so you can have the regeneration and the regrowth of the forest. Only from chaos can you get order. So let it burn. Confront the truth with the person staring back at you in the mirror. And we're going to talk about an exercise for that today. Number 5, we run up the score in life. I don't care what the score is. You keep running it up. Business, relationships, whatever is required, you do to win the game as much as possible. There is no mercy rule in life, guys. And I added a 6th. And we talked about this earlier because this has profoundly changed my life in helping me become emotionally stable and make much better decisions in my life, in my relationships, in business, in spiritual decisions. And that is, we seek answers, not emotions. Yeah, and I'm speaking to you. We seek answers first here, not emotions. So when you're confronted with a challenge or an obstacle or an argument or someone that is just giving you a difficult time, do not become overwhelmed by your emotions. Stand guard at the entrance of your mind and audit your thoughts. And then assess the meaning behind the emotions and make better informed decisions. Okay? It's a simple tactic you employ in your life. Seek answers, not emotions. Thank you, Jason Phillips, for that. Guys, one last review, and we're going to get into it because this is a big step. If you haven't listened to episode 1, make sure you go back, listen to episode 1. There is some actionable steps forward that you need to take to be a part of the winner's circle so you can create the momentum that you want in your life in any area that you want. We're just take small steps. But once we win, we're going to add a little bit more challenging, a little bit more challenging, a little bit more challenging. And we're literally step by step going to unlock our highest potential, our potential locked inside of our genetic code that's already there. That's what I mean when I say you are already worthy, you are already enough. You have it. We just got to unlock it. We're going to unpack the potential that's inside the pain. So let's do it. Number 2, you're going to make a list of 20 goals. These could be material. I want red bottoms. I want a PlayStation 4 or 5, whatever's out now. I want to go on vacation. That's a big one for a lot of people, especially right now. I want to go to a music festival. Whatever your goals are, professionally, personally, self-development, relationships, family, whatever you want to work on. Then you're going to prioritize that list of 20 into the most top 5 important ones to you. Those top 5, you do whatever it takes, as long as it takes to get the job done. You're going to take some L's along the way. That's okay. We all do. But it's about you getting back up. Okay? And so we're going to do everything. And all I'm asking from you guys, like legitimately, all I'm asking from you guys is everything you got. That's it. Give it everything you got. What else? What better else do you have to do than to be your best? The other 15 you avoid at all costs. That's the shit that's dragging you down like an anchor. That's the dead weight. That's the dead wood. You're like, oh, shiny thing, I want that. No, stay away from that. It's distracting you from the other 5. You're going to create a list of 5 critical steps for winning the day. We're going to talk about that on Monday again. And then lastly, you got to do it today. You got to start today. Tag me, show me, send me a picture, DM me, show me the Amazon order. People are already flying in pictures, hanging them up, circling W's. Let's fucking go. Those are action takers. Those are people ready to move forward. So, the number one thing that I want to talk about today, guys, I need a drink of water here, is the truth and how the truth defines your character. All right? You can tell a lot about a man's character by how much truth he can tolerate. Okay? If you can't tolerate the truth and you get emotional and you're reactive and you're always thinking about the problem and you're not able to accept the truth that you're not doing enough in your life and there's no one coming to save you, there's no one coming to bail you out, there's no more checks coming, that it's only you and your back's against the wall. You're a caged animal right now. You got to make a decision. And if you can't handle the truth, it's going to be a long, difficult, lonely journey. So, one of the truths I want to talk about as an aspect, I was having a conversation with a client this week, and this subject came up. And this is the truth for almost every single person listening to this podcast right now, and nearly everyone alive, okay? It's the truth behind this concept called the golden child. And what the golden child is it states that with one of our parents, we yearn for their love more. Like we love one parent the most, but we yearn for another parent's love more. And because we yearn for that love from that parent, we have to sacrifice our own identity. We have to become someone else because we do not feel worthy of their love. So we become someone else to earn their love. And what that is a soothing technique for children that later creates addictions in people's lives, because instead of facing the facts of who they are, and by the way, young children don't know any different, they become someone else who they are not designed to be, to earn the love and to feel worthy from someone else. So let me give you an example of this. I love my mom unconditionally. It's been me and her. She had me when she was 19 years old. I'm an only child. It's been me and my mom, ride or die. We've been through it all. But my father, I love my father to death because I am the man who I am who I am today because of him. But he wasn't in my life very much as a child, and I yearned for his love. And I always felt unworthy of his love because I could never truly understand why a bottle was more important than your child. Okay. And in order to earn my father's love, I had to be his partner in crime as a young child. I had to go to parties, and I was always at bars with him as a young child, sitting on the bar back in the 80s and early 90s. My dad's been on the run from cops through the town, and I've been around bars, and like, I always, to be around him or to get his attention, I had to become someone else. I had to be his partner in crime, almost like his party animal. I wasn't drinking or anything as a little kid, but I was involved in all of these situations, drug usage, etc. And so as I got older, I also became that identity. I became that person when stress was applied to my life. So when I became 15 and 16, I got in a really terrible car accident. I nearly lost my life, was ripped out of the car with jaws of life, sent to the hospital, got T-boned at 65 miles an hour. I don't remember any of it. But coming out of that, I didn't have stable frameworks as a 16-year-old to deal with all of the emotional stress that car accident cost me. And I resorted back to a framework that I had learned as a 3, 4, and 5-year-old kid, maybe 6, that I had no control over. And now I became the party animal and the partner in crime to soothe the pain, because I had learned that subconsciously as a child to try to earn my father's love. And this happens to all of us. We feel unworthy because one of our parents made us feel unworthy of their love. We sacrificed our true identity to become someone else so daddy or mommy would finally love me. And as you get older, you revert back to those old programs, those old algorithms you have subconsciously stored in the back left part of the hemisphere of your brain. And so when stress is applied, that soothing technique you learned as a child is now applied in frameworks as, for me, a teenager. And so I resorted to drugs and alcohol to soothe the pain, because that's what subconsciously was programmed into me, the frameworks that were installed in me without my decision, without me knowing, just a consequence of my life. And now we can see and understand why some people still act like kids and teenagers, but they're 30, 40, 50 years old. They've never learned a new framework to deal with the unworthiness and the lack of contribution, the feeling of insignificance. This happens to all of us. And so the thing that happens with the golden child is they also become people pleasers. And they become people who will not negotiate for what they want in life, because they believe if they ask for what they want in life, it will upset, like it would upset the father or the mother, that you're asking for what you want. So the golden child becomes, one, a people pleaser in their life. They apply soothing techniques that they learned subconsciously as children as a result of sacrificing their identity. And then lastly, they become chronic workaholics, because the only way they know how to feel worthy is to work their ass off and to show the boss, the team, that they're a contributor. And then that makes them feel significant. Now, what does the workaholic and the chronic stress of working that hard and being that stressed all the time cause? Happened to me. Caused cancer, causes chronic disease. So now diseases that seem maybe not so common or not so easily explained become really logical. That this conditioning that happens at a young age, that's not your fault, man. Like, listen to me. What you went through is not your fault. Now we know. So now we can fix it. Now we can start winning. Now we can stack the wins and build the momentum to change our identity back to who we were designed to be, a creator. As above, so below. If the creator created you in his image, you are a creator. And what you are creating while you are here on earth is your highest potential, guys. That's why I'm so emotional about this topic. You have a gift every single day. Like, seriously, if you were to give someone a gift and they didn't appreciate it, they didn't care about it, they didn't use it, they didn't thank you, they didn't show gratitude, they weren't humbled by the gift, would you still give them a gift? Would you still give them a gift? The answer is no. But yet God, the universe, the collective conscious, the ancestral knowledge of all of our ancestors, however you identify spiritually, whatever you would like to call it, do you think that the dreams and the visions and everything that you get, that they're limiting them based upon your false beliefs and the imposter syndrome, your bank account, the conditions that happened to you 10, 20, 30 decades ago? You have the ability to create whatever you want in your life. And I want that for you. So now you know the meaning and belief behind why you are emotionally reacting to stress, obstacles, the way that you are. So now you can make more informed decisions, but you have to do what's called the trauma work. You have to go back into those painful experiences as children and re-edit, like a director of a movie, the mental movie playing in your head. And you're able to do that using what's called associated and disassociated thoughts or dreams. Okay, you realize this, you may not realize this, but when you watch TV, Netflix, or movies, there's multiple camera angles. Sometimes it's first perspective. That's going to be an associated dream or thought. Then there's also like the camera angle that's pulled back and you can see the whole room. It's wide angle. It's in a third person view. That would be a disassociated thought or a disassociated dream. Now, the interesting thing about how you can use this NLP technique is we only experience happy dreams and happy thoughts from the first person perspective because it's more intimate. Like it's a happier feeling. So you're not afraid of it. So you relive it and you rethink it or you dream about it in the first person, like from your own eyeballs. But the painful experiences and the things that we think about in our past that caused us chaos or caused us trauma, we don't like to think about it because it stirs up old emotions. And what you probably don't realize is that you disassociate from those thoughts. So when you think about any of those painful thoughts or maybe some painful things that are going to happen in the future, you always pull back from the camera angle because you don't want to be close to it. And you experience it from far away rather than first person point of view camera angle. So now that you know that, these painful experiences, we have to associate with them. We have to go into the mental image and literally play the movie reel subconsciously in our mind and go back and edit the experience. So let me give you an example. When I was a young kid, like many young kids today, my father said, "Hey boy, I'll be there to come pick you up," or "Hey boy, I'll be at the game," or "Hey boy, I'll be at practice." But rarely did he ever show up. And I remember one summer evening, I lived on a farm, and I was waiting for my father to come pick me up. I was really excited. I was sitting on the porch step of the old farm, and he never showed up. And this happened time and time again. And as a young boy, you're wondering, what have I done? What's wrong with me? Why doesn't he want to spend time with me? And this created a lack of unworthiness in me for a really long time. Like I wasn't even aware of it. Then that created the soothing techniques and the self-medication and the drinking and all of the other things because I didn't know how to process my emotions and I made bad decisions because of it, because our emotions drive our decisions. And so I did some trauma work in a men's group, like right before I actually found my tumor. And one of the exercises they had me do is rooted in an NLP technique, and I'll share it with you. is that I had to go back into that dream. You like close your eyes and get in a calm, quiet area, and you go inside your mind and you mentally remember the experience. And so me, the young 7, 8-year-old Nick, sits on the porch. He's in the dream, sitting on the porch like I remember it. But instead of hopefully my dad shows up, which I've already replayed that memory thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of times in my life, hoping and praying he showed up. But in this version, the adult Nick showed up. And I was going to speak to that young boy. Man, this is hard. It was hard then. And so my mentor at the time, he said, what do you want to say to the young 7-year-old Nick sitting on the porch step waiting for his father to show up, who never comes? What do you want to say to him as an adult male now, knowing what you know now, Nick? And I knew instantaneously what adult Nick was going to say to the young boy Nick. And it was, I love you. You're enough. And you're worthy. And that was a very freeing experience. It lifted so much stress and so much torment on my heart. But I already had that inside me. I already was capable of having that conversation. I just didn't know. And I felt a lot better about those situations. And in the times where I really struggle in life, when I don't really understand why I've gotten this opportunity or why someone would believe in me, because I still deal with feelings of unworthiness quite a bit, I practice that exercise. And I go back and I let the broken boy inside of me know that it's going to be okay, that you are enough, that you're worthy, that you deserve this, that you're not broken. And we move the fuck forward, one step at a time. But when I go into that dream, guys, I associate with it. I always used to disassociate with it. So it was like me going into the thought and the dream, but from like way back out in the woods looking at young Nick, right? It was like from afar watching it go down. But in this thought exercise, I had to go and associate. I had to go into it and face it. I had to face my vulnerability. You have to rise in the face of vulnerability, guys. That is the definition of courage. I didn't want to handle the truth of that conversation for nearly 26 years. I avoided it. And every time I avoided it, I went and did things that didn't serve me. And I hurt myself for no reason. And some of you might be going through that too. Those are losses. That is losing. You're choosing to lose. Do not be willfully blind anymore, which means you could have known, but you actively made a decision not to. And that is on you. That is on your character. So now I've given you the exercise. I've given you the tools, and everyone has a story to tell. I'm not here just to tell my story, woe is me. I'm telling you how to face everything and rise. Face it all and rise, not face everything and run. You face it. In the face of vulnerability, you rise. That's what we have to do. So go back to your painful experience, whatever it is that's holding you down. In the adult version of you, go talk to that broken child that had nothing to do with your experience. And you go fix the conversation. And you go look yourself in the mirror. And you say, I will no longer allow this experience to hold me down or to define who I am. This is what I'm saying is like, how long ago did you decide who you could and could not become? People love to say, oh, I'm this and I'm not good at that and I don't have the ability to do this. Really? You live in the greatest age of information. Do you understand there's more content and more information that's made in one day than there was in all of history combined? There's so much information from billionaires of how they live their day in their life. You could learn and pick up all the gems of everything. And you're obviously want to acquire knowledge because you're listening to podcasts like this. But go circle the W on that task. Put it up on the board and go get it done. And free yourself from the baggage. Drop the baggage and pick up your future. All right. Enough time on that. So, the good thing here is about the golden child. All right. There is a positive to this. It's this fact right here. The pain that is inside of you that you're experiencing, it's worth its weight in gold, guys. All you have to do is extract the gold. You have to extract the potential from the pain. Pain to possibility. That's what we have to do. And in order to do that, you're going to have to go into the mirror, look into the mirror, and have a real honest conversation with yourself. Once again, I gave you guys actionable steps. I'm going to give you an actionable step. You're going to go and get a dry erase marker. That one big promise, whatever that promise is that you make to yourself, make it bigger, make it about family, about the ones that you love, make it about legacy, make it about your empire. I refuse to break this promise. I'm going to get this done no matter what happens. You got to kill me in order for this not to fucking happen. It's got to be that big. Right now it's, I will win junior nationals men's physique 2022. That's what it says. It's been saying that for 365 days after I placed second last year. And you're going to go write yours on your mirror and you're going to look at it every day. Every day. You're not going to wipe it. I don't care how dirty that mirror, you can clean it up, but you don't erase off the dry erase marker. You look at it. Then you look yourself dead in the eyes. You get as close to that mirror as you can. You look yourself in the black iris part of your eye. You look deep into your eyes. And you have a conversation about what you are no longer willing to tolerate in your life. I'm sick of this. I'm not dealing with this anymore. Whether you have to remove people, experiences, peers, friends, doesn't matter. Situations, you got to go, you got to move, whatever it takes, you make that decision today. Write that promise, have that conversation, and I guarantee you're going to feel a lot better about yourself. Guys, that's all I got today. That was Friday Fire. Thank you so much, guys, for being a part of this